Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Michel Venice here once again for another video in our anatomy and fashion project. Thanks for being here, thanks for the support and for giving me a chance. We're just starting out on the channel. Comment and share, okay? Leave your opinion, your suggestion. As I said earlier, we're just getting started here, so I really need your feedback to understand how I can help you and guide you even better. I truly hope you're enjoying everything so far, and without further ado, let's move on to another important part of the character, which is the legs, all right? Let's go. Well, here, just like we were doing before, right? There's this division down the middle that I made. Since it's a mirrored pose, I'm moving on to the legs now, always basing myself on a reference, making the first sketch. Okay? They are constantly attempting to do things in a consistent and similar, perfectly mirrored fashion. Here I did the head measurement, which is in other videos. It's in the other full body video, all right? Hi, and here I'm taking the measurements and then I'm going to duplicate the drawing, you see, to mirror it because I want the first layout to be truly symmetrical. Okay, it's going to serve as a template for us so that later I can work on it, then I enlarge it, right? As I told you in the full body video, because of my peripheral vision, I like to draw and then move on to something else. Then I enlarge it to get a broader view. Here I'm already working on the second one, layout, okay? Now I'm defining the legs here. Legs are a cool thing to draw, actually pretty enjoyable, but sometimes they're a bit complex because of their shape, you know? At least that's how I see it. That's my opinion. They have all this very unique musculature, right? These muscle segments. And it's really important to have a reference, as I've mentioned in some videos, because without a reference, you can't achieve that level of perfection. And for us as artists who strive for perfection, right? You need a reference. There's no way around it. So here I make a whole outline, a muscular outline. I do this first layout and you'll see that I keep doing and redoing it because of the volume. Sometimes I get a little confused, and maybe you might too, because when you look at one leg, it seems like a certain part of the muscle is more raised than on the other leg. That's normal, okay? But since I'm aiming for a certain symmetry here, you saw that I duplicated the legs. And normally I focus on the outline, that is on this line I'm drawing now. You see, this outline is the outer line, it's the contour of the leg. Let's put it that way, the shape of the leg, okay? So I always try to draw one leg while looking at the other to see. It's as if it were a single piece, as if both legs were just one piece, you know? Like the torso, if you've seen the torso video where I said it looked like a goblet, it's the same thing with the legs here. They don't look like a goblet, but they kind of, if you look at both, you have to see them as a single piece. This will help you with the proportions of both legs, okay? In this case, where the pose has the limbs practically mirrored, right? It's a front-facing pose, so you can really mirror things a lot. You can really use that symmetry as a guide. You understand what I mean by mirrored, right? Guys, when I say what I'm doing here, well, please do keep commenting below and we will all help each other out, okay? Right here, these knees are also a bit tricky and complicated to draw correctly, but with enough consistent practice, I am sure you will eventually get it. You saw that I duplicated and mirrored it to check if they're the same size, if it looks harmonious, especially in the outline, the outer line, which is where you see the shape of the leg inside. You can even vary the size of the muscles a bit, you know? It doesn't really matter, but on the outside, the shape needs to be consistent. It has to match. It has to fit together. It has to be harmonious. Both legs need to bring harmony to each other. That's why I tell you to look at both legs as if they were a single piece, so to speak. So because of this, you always have to make sure that you keep the outline exactly the same. The outer line, which is the drawing, the silhouette of the leg. But inside you can make some differences and such because it's not exactly the same, right? You know what I mean? So you can make it the same here on the... There are a lot of muscles in the leg, right? There's a lot going on. There's the bone here in the calf, the bone here in the front, there's the knee. It's an exercise in observation, okay? Always remember this. Drawing is an exercise in observation. So learn to observe. Use real references as well, okay? Don't copy a drawing from another drawing. That's it. I won't say it's a mistake, but I don't think it's a good idea because copying, we're human beings, and when we make a copy, we're already doing it with our own style, with our own habits, in the way we look, in the way we observe, and then you go and it's like a utopia of someone else's habits because the person who made that drawing already has their own habits, which they probably have, you know? So they must have already put their own habits, their own distorted vision into their art. And when you keep replicating it here, it ends up becoming like a copy of a copy, right? Making a photocopy of a photocopy. So it rarely ever turns out looking very good. So if you really want to learn how to do it properly, you should use original photos, okay? Unless, of course, folks, you pick someone like Michelangelo, then there's nothing to discuss, nothing more to say, okay? Because Michelangelo is Michelangelo, right? He's synonymous with perfection. The guy really is, without a doubt. There's no comparison. You just can't, there's just no way. But even so, I still prefer photos, you know, folks. And make sure you have plenty of references, okay? Here I'm making another adjustment. I see that it's a bit open, so what am I going to do? I'm going to go in and make its shape, the outline a little more closed. I'm working on this leg. You'll see that I'm going to duplicate it, mirror it, so everything is the same size. You saw that I retraced the back up there because I'll say it again. Every limb I make, every limb connection, because I like to create the limbs separately, each on its own layer in Photoshop. So I keep working like this, making the connections as I go. I redo the limb to which it's connected because I find it easier to see things that way. And I think it gives more realism, more uniformity. It becomes more uniform, okay? It gets more uniform and you can see the shape better and it looks much more realistic. Okay, you can see that the shape changed a little bit here. See? Then you trim it, move one part a little further away, another one, and so on. Always like this, okay? Don't be afraid to make adjustments, especially when you're in Photoshop. Make full use of everything Photoshop can offer you, man, because it's wonderful. I love drawing in Photoshop, not just because it's easier, but also because of my eyesight. When I draw on paper, I need a large sheet to draw on, otherwise I just can't do it. All right? And that is basically it. You simply keep making adjustments, continuing with this observation work, right? Making it more and more. See, I did a little bit of the backup there because it helps me see the leg better, helps me see the composition better, this connection, this link with the limbs, okay? For me, that's really important, all right? So that's it. And you keep zooming in, then you zoom out to take a look. Don't let the lines stick together, one on top of the other. You can see there at the knee, I always separate the line there. I try to separate it because don't try. It's a lot of muscle, right? You know what I mean? It's a lot of drawing. So be careful with the drawings, with the muscles, so they don't end up. Know how to make this muscular division in the drawing, in the lines, okay? It's not just any difference. It's not just any junction of the muscles, okay? The brush also helps a lot. The texture of the brush really helps you draw as well, but there's also the physical pressure exerted by your hand, the specific settings on your digital tablet, and the particular hardware you happen to be using. So do whatever feels comfortable for you. That's what I want to share on this channel, okay? I want to give you an example, but find what feels comfortable for you. Every artist has their own style, their own way of working. If you go on Instagram, you'll see many artists drawing in different ways, and it works. There are artists, for example, who do things differently from one another, and people say, my God, how do they manage that? But it's just that they've gotten used to it, you know? So I'm showing you the way I do it, but you can find your own path, because maybe you'll also find my way of drawing good for you, right? In a certain way. Like the way I've been drawing here, for example. So then we start looking at the composition, everyone. Always see. Then I erase here because I already had a better idea. And after that, I'm finally able to get it done. All right. That was another video where we just looked at the character's legs. We are doing everything here. We have a video, as I told you, we have a video of the whole body done and the head separate. And so I'm breaking down the body parts into small videos in case you want that, if it's easier for you, all right? Don't forget to like, comment, and share. It helps me a lot. It helps me build this channel. Give your opinion, leave your critique respectfully here so we can find common ground and help each other. Post your questions, say, Michelle, can you do this thing in this way? All within this niche, okay? The fashion and anatomy niche. So we can help each other and I can make the channel more and more appealing and satisfying for you. All right. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thanks once again. See you later. Bye-bye.